Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well this evening. Tonight we got a special True Crime After Dark. We're going to be talking about a case from here in Arkansas that has gained the national attention when it happened. And I really haven't talked about it a lot. I talked about it. It's the Aaron Spencer case. I'm sure some of you have heard about it, but for anybody who hasn't heard about it, I'm going to go over the timeline and everything that has happened up until now, which up until now, there hasn't been a whole lot going on with it due to a myriad of things. But so I just want to come on here tonight for a little bit and talk about it because we all know, we've been just overwhelmed lately or with the past couple of days with everything that's been going on within our community regarding predators. And the case we're going to talk about tonight does involve a child predator. I lost my train of thought. I just get so, and then, like I said, there just hasn't been a whole lot about this particular case that has come out, but I just wanted to talk about it tonight, get you guys caught up. And so we'll go from there. I don't do a whole lot. Maybe every other week I'll do a True Crime After Dark or something on Wednesdays. But I probably will do another one on Friday night where we may, depending on what everybody, if you're like me and Chris, let me welcome everybody who's here. Chris is here. He said, hi. Hello, Chris. Good to see you here. Please look up Oklahoma Watch Vigilante Hunters. So I'm assuming that's in regard to Arctic's case. Like I said, we're not going to really talk a whole lot. Now, if we have a little bit of time left at the end, when I get done with the case we're going to talk about, we can discuss. But as for me, everything that I've watched, I've heard, and I've seen the past few days, I'm just overwhelmed, overloaded. I've seen everything I need to see about it. I've made my decisions. I have my own feelings. And I just really, and as Doodle said today, Doodle had a really, really good live stream today about a missing persons case. And I think his name was brought up. I don't even like saying his name anymore. And she's just like, let's just not, let's continue to do what we do. Bring attention to these cases that are important, that need to be talked about. Not saying that the situation in our community is not important and needs to be talked about. It definitely does, needs to be called out. But I just needed a break tonight from it, honestly. And like I said, the subject matter we're going to go over tonight is and I forgot to put my banner up once again for the trigger warning. Is going to be heavy enough as it is. But like I said, Friday night, if all goes as planned, I'm planning on doing another live stream, because I will have the house to myself, me and the cats, so we can get into, if whoever, if we want to talk about it, we will talk about it, and whatever, anything. It'll kind of be an open forum to talk about whatever. But anyway, tonight, let me finish welcoming people in. Mustang is here. Hello, Mustang. Good to see you. Miss Paula is here. Good to see you, Miss Paula. Miss Sleuthy is here. And once again, touching again on the subject within our community, there are already so many videos and live streams out there that people have done regarding the situation, that just go to YouTube and Google it, and and whatever. I know Sleuthy was it yesterday, or Stormy did a live stream. There are several other creators that have done live streams, showing all the videos and the audio. And so if there's a myriad, like I said, there's a myriad of things to choose from, to watch if you choose to. But it's always good to see Stormy here. Please check out Stormy. Please check out Paula, their channels. Miss Farr is here. It's always a pleasure to have Miss Farr here. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Mustang is getting the links in for me as usual. Yeah, Mustang says exactly. We shouldn't stop the awareness. Yeah, like I said, I just needed a timeout from it all, a break. And like I said, there are other things, as unfortunately, as we all know, there are so many missing persons cases, unsolved cases, that still need to, awareness needs to be brought to, that we're just going to concentrate on that tonight, and just keep doing what we do. Exactly. And that is basically what Miss Doodle said in her live stream. Farr said, let's forget him. We don't need to give his name any more attention, in my opinion. That is my sentiment. Exactly. Like I said, I've watched, seen, and heard enough. I've made up my mind. I don't even want to I just want to put him out of my mind. Like I said, I don't even like saying his name anymore. So, like I said, it's your choice. If you want to go out and find the videos and watch them, absolutely. But I think, like I said, a lot of people have he's been called out and exposed, and I just want to try to get back to somewhat normal, So anyway, Stormy said I got to watch part of that live. I think I was working, but I dropped in to leave my like and to say hi. But Stormy said I did a lot of cursing for everyone the other day on my live stream. Yeah, I don't blame you. It does. The situation definitely deserves, or what is it? Z calls it a righteous indignation. I think that's one of her terms she uses, because she covers a lot of she covers, like injustice cases and things of that nature, and people that need to be called out. So anyway, okay, Chris says that, oh, sorry. Everything jumped on me. Hold on. Chris said that link isn't regarding the person who is in the community, but another case. Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, Mustang says exactly. Too many talking nonstop about it. I agree. There's Miss Doodle. Her ears must have been burning. How you doing, ma'am? It is always good to see Miss Doodle. Please do check out Miss Doodle. I'm sure Mustang will get the link in. Yeah, Doodle agrees. She says, I've seen more than I wanted to. Exactly. Yeah, Paula says, I'm shocked. I found one video and didn't watch it. Yeah, it's, yeah, for anybody who hasn't watched any of the videos or listened to any of the audio, just be forewarned, if you choose to, it's very disturbing, very triggering. So just watch at your discretion. I'm just going to say that. Let me see. I think I'm caught up. Thank you, Mustang was still getting in links. So like I said, tonight, even though we're not going to be talking about, hey, Josh, there's my friend. How are you doing, sir? He says, you don't owe anyone, I don't talk to me, I guess, you don't owe anyone an explanation or apology. It was too much for me. We take rest and keep going. Absolutely. We just have to keep going and do what we do. But I'm so glad to see Josh here. Always a pleasure and honor to have Josh here. Please do check out Josh's channel, Where Lavender Grows. Once again, I'm sure Mustang will get the link in. Sorry. So yeah, so we will just keep on keeping on. Is that the saying? Keep on keeping on. Thank you very much. Yes, there is Josh's channel. Please do check him out. I think he said he's going to do his live streams on Sunday nights or Sunday evenings at around 6 p.m. Central Time. So please do check him out if you can live. If not, please be replay crew. And once again, anybody who is watching replay for this live stream, thank you so very much. As always, leave me a comment down below to let me know that you are replay crew. All right. So I'm going to mark right there. So like I said, tonight we are going to be talking about a predator. So I'll go ahead and put up my slideshow. So like I said, this is a case from Arkansas. It has gained national attention. The Aaron Spencer case, or that's what it's referred to. If you Google Aaron Spencer, it'll come up. So before we go any further, I just want to make it perfectly clear, because you see, I put, did system failure spark vigilante justice? So let me make it perfectly clear. I do not in any way condone or approve of vigilante justice, vigilante violence, but I just wanted to, I got to thinking, if we didn't have failures within the judicial system, lack of transparency, corruption or alleged corruption, would it stop? Would it help stop some? Because things like this have happened before. We all know, unfortunately. And once again, I do not condone in any way vigilante justice. But just in my opinion, if the system would work better concerning predators, things like this might not happen, or it might cut down on, you know what I'm trying to say? This is just my opinion. I think a lot of those things kind of perpetuate, not taking blame away from the people who perpetuate this vigilante justice, vigilante crimes. But if the system would work better as in regards to, like I said, how they deal with predators, then maybe, it wouldn't lead to things like this happening, basically. Anyway, after that very long-winded, probably too long explanation. So first, and I do have some videos I'm going to play tonight, hopefully. So tonight, I know when I went back and watched a little bit of the replay from Monday night's live stream, it was really pixelated, and I was going in and out. So far, it seems to be looking a little bit better as far as my end. On my end, you'll have to let me know, because when I'm recording, everything looks perfectly clear to me. So I do have some videos to play, some articles to read, to go through, from the beginning up until now, whatever day it is. I don't even know what day it is, the date. Whatever day it is, as we're doing this in 2026. Because this case started back in 2023, I believe, 23 or 24. And just to be in total transparency, I am very close to this case, as in It happened in Lonoke County, Arkansas, which is the county I live in. Lived here all my life. Know all about Lonoke County. It does not have its shortages of sketchy, corrupt type situations that have occurred in Lonoke County, Arkansas. In my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion who live in Arkansas or haven't even heard of Arkansas or don't even live in Arkansas, that Lonoke County is one of the, if not the most corrupt counties in the state. So that might be the next series of videos that I do for my members only videos, is sharing these cases that happened over the years just in Lonoke County. So I'm very, like I said, it's very close to me. Lonoke City, the city of Lonoke is the county seat of Lonoke County. So of course, the courthouse is here, everything, all the proceedings, happen in Lonoke. So I'm very familiar with it. I don't know any of the people personally that are involved, except for the judge. Don't know her personally. Well, she's still a judge, but she was removed from the case. But we'll get to that. I know of her just from living in these small rural communities. We know everybody knows everybody. But like I said, we'll get to that. I'm getting off track. Let's make sure I didn't miss anybody. Wait a minute. Something came up. Oh, Doodle is a new member. Maybe she just renewed. Did I miss Louise? Somebody said Louise. Hold on. Or wait, did I miss hold on, I might have missed something. Let me check something. Oh, maybe before I was talking about Doodle. Anyway, we'll give Doodle her moo cow. Sorry, I'm still just out of sorts. My mind is still just so thank you, Miss Farr. Miss Doodle. Good Lord, it's gonna be a long night. Anyway, did I miss Louise? Stormy said Louise. Is Miss Louise here? Don't think I missed anybody. I try not to miss anybody. No, I don't think I did. Okay. Anyway, let me get back up to where I was at. I apologize for some reason my throat has been sore and scratchy today. I think it's just allergies. It's that time of year. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Doodle says she renewed. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, sleep there. Stormy likes the moo cow. Doodle loves the moo cow. Hey, Julie's guitar. Good to see you, my dear. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you back. Oh, Stormy says she thought she saw Miss Louise. Yeah, I missed you. Louise usually pops in here. There's Miss Avery. She says, good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is in your part of wherever part of the world you guys are in, or when you happen to be watching this, if you're watching on replay. All right, I think I've got everybody, so we will get started. So make sure I've got my articles up and that they are loading. Yes, they are. All right, so we're going to start out with what happened. So like I said, Aaron Spencer. So I'm just going to read. I do have an article I'm going to read that gives more detail. But on October 8th, 2024, Aaron Spencer, and I tried to put their pictures. I don't know how well you can see them on the slide. Discovered his daughter missing from their home. She was only 13 years old. 13 years old at the time, by the way. While his wife called 911, he went out to look for her. He found her and the man that she was with, which is Michael Foster, who is on the other side of the slide there. He ended up finding Mr. Foster before the police did. So the daughter, Aaron Spencer's daughter, was in the vehicle with 76-year-old Michael Fossler. Spencer began chasing Fossler's truck. He eventually ran him off the road. And then Spencer ended up GSWing and killing Fossler after a confrontation. So I know there's going to be, I mean, and there's kind of, like I said, you know, there's going to be differences of opinion with the facts of the case, or with people's opinions of the case. Was he right doing it? Was he wrong? We don't know. Was it self-defense? Was it vigilante justice? We don't know, because, as I'm going to tell you later, as happens quite frequently here in Arkansas, some evidence ended up disappearing for a little bit that could shed a whole lot of important light on what exactly happened. So Michael Fossler did have a disturbing history with the Spencer family. In July of 2024, Fossler was arrested on 43 CSA. And when I say CSA, it's going to be child SA. CSA charges related just to Aaron Spencer's daughter. And she's not the only victim. There's been at least one other victim that has come out sometime after this happened, that I know about, that I've just seen mentioned. So, and in my opinion, he probably has many more victims. So just, and I do have I did go to the ARCourts.gov website and found a list of all 43 charges just related to this case, or the case that he was going to be tried for before this happened. But some of them are internet stalking of a child, CSA, indecency with a child, electronic facilitation of CSAM. So this is where I say, did the system fail? In my opinion, yes. So after his arrest, Mr. Fossler was released on $50,000 bond, and he was legally barred from contacting her. So they had already had a no contact order in place, or a restraining order, no contact order, some kind of order basically saying, you know, before this happened, you're not to come near her, near the family, whatever. He had broken it. But he broke it again after he was arrested, let out on $50,000 bond, and then just not too long after that is when all this happened. He contacted her, either forced her or persuaded her, the daughter, to get into the truck with him, and then we see the result. So that is where I say, in my opinion, the system has got to do better, because, I mean, I'm no judicial expert, but in my opinion, for somebody who has, just for one case, 46 felony counts regarding minor crimes against minors, $50,000 is not a drop in the bucket. I mean, I've seen people who, I mean, not saying that it's right, substance sellers and stuff get more of a bond than somebody who has 46 counts of CSA against them. So it just blows my mind. Just as always, it just makes absolutely no sense to me. All right, so that's the basics. So I do have an article that I did find. I had to go way back to find an article. It gives a more description of exactly what happened that night, according to Mr. Spencer's account, because like I said, since Fossler was taken out, he's not here to tell, he's not here to give his version. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a key piece of evidence that was lost, and I'm still confused with this. They have not made it clear. First it was lost, then it was found, and then maybe lost again. But then they said that when Mr. Spencer does go to trial, they don't know if it's going to be admitted into evidence. So I don't know, but it is, and I'll let you guys know what it is. But it is a key piece of evidence that could shed light on what exactly happened that night. But anyway, so this article is from ARCourts.gov. So after the Arkansas Supreme Court ordered the court files to be made public, because once again, shortly after this happened, and we'll get into this part of it too, there was the good judge Elmore put a gag order on the whole thing. So after the Arkansas Supreme Court ordered the court files to be made public, we now have a clearer picture of what happened the night that Aaron Spencer took the life of Michael Fossler, a Lonoke County man who had previously been arrested and charged with SA offenses against Spencer's teenage daughter. So according to records obtained by the Arkansas Times, Spencer initially called 911 just after 1 a.m. on October 8th, 2024, to report that his 13-year-old daughter was missing. Spencer told police that he had been awakened by his dog barking. He went to his daughter's room to check her and saw that she was missing. She was not in the room. He said that he suspected that she was with Michael Fossler, 67, who had been arrested in July and charged with 43 counts, including SA of a minor and internet stalking of a child, related to Fossler's pursuit of Spencer's then 13-year-old daughter. The arrest affidavit for Spencer says that he went to look for his daughter and Fossler after calling 911 the first time. The Lonoke County Sheriff's Office contacted Cabot Police to ask them to check a specific address. So I'm going to assume that this specific address they're talking about is maybe where Michael Fossler lived. Now, I don't know. Of course, it's never given his home address or anything, which is whatever, fine. So I'm assuming that is the residence that they wanted to be checked. So prior to hearing back from Cabot Police, however, 911 dispatch got a second call from Aaron Spencer, who said that he had located, quote, the man who kidnapped his daughter and his daughter, but that Fossler was, quote, deceased on the side of the road and that he had no choice, end quote. So the affidavit contained Spencer's recounting of how the deadly interaction unfolded. According to him, Spencer said that he saw Fossler's white Ford F-150 truck turn onto Highway 236 East toward Fossler's home. So then that wouldn't have been Michael. No, because I know these roads and places very well. So 236 East would not be going towards Cabot. So I don't know what residence they're talking about then. Anyway, so he saw Fossler's truck. He turned around. He chased the truck. He was flashing his lights, honking his horn, trying to get Fossler to pull over. So when the two vehicles arrived at the intersection of 236 East and 13 North, Spencer ended up ramming Fossler's truck in the rear, sending it into the ditch. Spencer then stated that he exited his vehicle with his firearm in his hand and ordered Fossler out of his vehicle and to lay down in the ditch. Mr. Spencer stated that he observed his daughter trying to exit the passenger side of the vehicle, but it appeared to him that Fossler had grabbed the daughter and stopped her from getting out of the vehicle. Spencer then stated that Fossler exited his vehicle and had something in his hand, but Spencer did not know what it was. So I hate to assume we know, but I'm just, if it was me, I would just have assumed that he had a firearm in his hand. So Spencer stated that Fossler then lunged towards him saying, F you. Spencer stated that he then opened fire on Fossler, emptying his weapon before jumping on top of Fossler and pistol whipping him. Spencer then stated that he got his daughter out of the vehicle and returned to his truck, where he ended up reloading his weapon. And then that's when he made the second 911 call, stating, as I said earlier, that, the man, he had located the man who kidnapped his daughter. He was deceased on the side of the road. He had no choice to do what he did, basically, is what he was saying, or what he told 911 in the second call. So according to the police report, Spencer shot Fossler in the chest, arms, and abdomen with a Glock 19 firearm. The report does not say how many times each body part was hit, but it does say a standard magazine for a Glock 19 holds 15 rounds. So regarding the pistol whipping of Fossler, the report notes that, quote, there was blood on the outside of the weapon when police recovered it. So Mr. Spencer did bond out of Lonoke County Jail the following day. Once again, the case quickly drew attention, both, obviously in Arkansas and beyond. And then on November 27th, the prosecutors did charge Aaron Spencer with second degree homicide and commission of a felony with a firearm. So that same day, Mr. Spencer's attorneys issued a statement calling Spencer, quote, a decorated war hero who protected his country and a loving father whose heroic actions protected his family, end quote. They said that Michael Fossler had, quote, repeatedly violated his child, meaning Aaron Spencer's child, and, quote, kidnapped her in the dark of the night to continue his assaults on her, end quote. So the statement went on to criticize prosecutors for bringing charges against Spencer at all. They accused prosecutors of, quote, perpetuating these horrors instead of protecting legitimate victims and punishing true criminal offenders, end quote. And they went on to thank those who had voiced their outrage over the treatment of Aaron, his child, and the rest of his family, who obviously has suffered from this crime. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of this because it gets into what happened later on. So that is the gist of what happened. Like I said, everybody's going to have their opinions about, once again, I absolutely do not condone. There's no place for vigilante justice. That's what we have the judicial system for. But once again, my point in doing this is when the judicial system, in my opinion, doesn't do its job, then that is why things like this end up happening a lot of times. Let me know, as always, if you agree or disagree. We are adults here. We can have adult conversations and opinions. Just always, as always, we're always respectful of each other. And once again, I'm so sorry for my voice tonight. All right, so that's the gist of what happened as far as the crime. Now, let me get back into your comments, get caught up for a minute, and then we will see what we got next. All right, there's where I was. Turn off my camera for a minute. Thank you, Mustang Guardian Stolen Spirits, MMIWG channel, Facebook channel. Please do check the Facebook channel, YouTube channel. Please do check them out. Yeah, Doodles says this case is very interesting. I wish they would air his trial public, but yeah, we're going to talk about that, and I don't know if they will or not. I said we'll get into everything that has happened because there is a lot that has happened regarding gag orders and information that was to be released, and just a whole shite storm, if you will, of surrounding this case. I'm not sure if Arkansas is a no camera state. I will have to look at that. Let me see. Josh says, so many people say hello to me, but I was on another device. Hi, good to see everybody. Yes, and we will get to that. Yep, Avery is correct. Yeah, Doodle says, due to the nature of the case, they said it's closed doors. Yeah, I'm not expecting a whole lot of public coverage of this case. Just like I said, it's Lonoke County. I know how Lonoke County operates. For better or worse, usually it's worse. So it's just going to be, that's why I wanted to do this, to get everybody caught up on what's going on, because I'm pretty sure that so as of right now, the case does not have it doesn't have a trial date. They said it is on hold indefinitely until they get things worked out, get a new judge, blah, 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 do all the things that have to be done. But I'm pretty sure that when it does get going, it's going to be a heck of a thing going on. Miss Paula says, I won't be up for the whole stream, but I will be here for a little while. I have an 840 blood lab for my diabetes. Well, I hope everything goes well for you, Miss Paula, and thank you for being here as long as you can be. Yes, Stormy, this is in Arkansas, right smack dab I live right smack dab in the middle of it. Smack dab in the middle of it. Doodle says, yes, it sure did fail. Yeah, when we get into some more of the facts of this case, yes. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I just want to go off right now and just go off into everything. But I'm trying to keep going order here of what has happened so far. Oh, Miss Farr says she remembers this one now. Yeah. And I'm still waiting on any new developments in the the Devil's Den guy. I can't think of his name right now. Haven't heard anything new about that case lately. What nearly ripped your, Miss Avery said something nearly ripped her leg off. What? Are you okay, Miss Avery? A shot. Oh my goodness. Julia said, I agree. It makes absolutely no sense. Far says, when is the trial? We don't know yet. It is postponed or held over, whatever term they use, indefinitely. Supposedly, the last I heard, maybe anywhere from May to July of this year. Now, that's barring any other things that may come up. But that's the latest that I've heard, maybe anywhere from May to July of this year. Let me see. Yeah, it is too here. Avery was telling Doodle the pollen is an inch thick here. Oh yeah, I think that's what's causing my voice to be so. Oh, I will definitely be there for that. Josh says I might do a decompression alien conspiracy live on Sunday if people might be interested. I'm interested. Oh goodness. I'm definitely interested. Anyway, Stormy says, I'm sorry. Don't ever apologize for your thoughts and opinions. She says, but sometimes I feel like a bunch of angry mothers and fathers would do a much better job than the system. I agree. The system always lets them out to reoffend. I don't think they can be rehabbed. I don't either. Now, in some cases where people commit different types of crimes, yeah, maybe they can be rehabbed. But it's always been, just my opinion, I've always thought that if you're a predator, in my opinion, you can't be rehabbed. I don't know if it's something you're born with, something that you learn, a mixture of both, nature versus nurture, whatever. But yeah, I'm in agreement. When it comes to predators, I just don't think that they can be rehabbed. Stormy said this man talking about Aaron Spencer was protecting his child, in my opinion. Absolutely. And I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but so another thing that really pissed me off, is that when this case came out, and this is going back to like mainstream media, you hardly saw nary a picture of Mr. Fossler. You did not hear or see mention of any of his crimes. If you Googled the case, even if you just Googled Michael, and still today, even if you Google Michael Fossler, everything that comes up is just as Aaron Spencer. What he did, da 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 da. It does not. You would be hard pressed to find an article about Michael Fossler mentioning all his crimes and everything that he was charged with in this case. So you can see even the media, in my opinion, was biased towards Fossler, towards the predator, instead of the victim and the victim's family and Aaron Spencer. And I was going to say something else. Oh, regarding the night that, and this was not the first time that Fossler had lured the daughter out of the home. This had been going on for at least a year, the summer prior to, at least. The CSA, the grooming, everything that goes along with the predator. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I have no doubt in my mind that on this night particular, that this happened, that he was killed, that when he, like I said, he could, I'm sure he lured her out of the house, because we all know how predators work, how they operate. He probably lured her out of the house, and once again, my opinion, I have no doubt in my mind that either one, that he was going to disappear with her and go somewhere, keep her locked in the bay. And I'm being serious when I say this, lock her away somewhere, do God knows what to her, until he got tired of her, and then get rid of her. Or he was going to take her, or he was going to take her and do something to her that night, get rid of her that night. Because there was a trial date said he was going to go on trial for these crimes against her. She was going to testify against him. So was he taking her that night to, like I said, get rid of her so she wouldn't testify? Possible. In my opinion, probable. Or he was going to take her, like I said, and keep her around for a while and have his way with her and then get rid of her. Now, that's just my opinion. Anyway, yeah, Doodles says he was, Kasuthi said that in her opinion, Spencer was protecting his child. Doodles said he was, and the guy was already let out and couldn't let this continue. Yeah. As soon as, I can't remember how long after he was released on this $50,000 bond, break the piggy bank open for that, is when he violated the no contact order for her and went right back to contacting her. Yeah. Stormy said, we're talking about rehabilitation. She says, nope, you sure can't. They are wired differently. Absolutely. I agree. Far says rock spiders are broken and need to be sent straight back to the factory. No helping them, in my opinion. Doodle says, I don't condone homicide, but protecting a child, especially your own, it feels like a passion crime or rage that he couldn't handle. Absolutely. I mean, and this family, and Aaron, his wife, they had done everything right. They had reported it to the police as soon as they found out about it. They had gotten the restraining order, no contact order, whatever, reported every time that they knew of, that they found out about, that that Foster had contact with their daughter. They had done everything right, and this still happened. Granted, yeah, they did arrest Foster. They did charge him. He was going to go to trial, but they let him out on $50,000 bond. He immediately broke the no contact order. In my opinion, he should have never been let out. I mean, I know there are that there are rules and things that they do about bond and stuff, but I mean, even if you had to give him a bond, set it up to like $1 million or something that he probably couldn't have made, gotten out, made a bail for and gotten out. $50,000. Like I said, I've seen people who shoplifted. I mean, I'm being flippant, but that have gotten a higher bond than $50,000. It's just ridiculous, in my opinion. Stormy says, I understand why there's a system put in place, but I have seen it fail in this particular department for too many times before for my liking. Absolutely. Doodle says, if the wheels of justice would turn faster, things may not be so out of control. Absolutely. Sorry. Josh says, talking to Stormy, he said that's difficult to argue with. Certain lines crossed permanently removes trust in those spaces. Rehab does not restore it. Absolutely. Yep. And I'll go through and just kind of, if I can, it should let me screen share all the charges, because I did get on the like I said, the ARCourts.gov court docket website, and did find the list of all his charges. 43, 46, how many ever of them there are. Yeah, Stormy says, why do they continue to get protected? I know, it's always been that way. It seems like the predators get protected, and the victims get victimized further. That's a good question, Paula. Paula says, why was he released? That's my question. In my opinion, with all those 43, 46 felony charges against a minor, he should never have been gotten any bond, or he should have stayed in. Just my opinion. Once again, stayed in prison, stayed in jail until his trial. Yeah, but like Stormy says, they always are. If they can make the bond, they can make it. Because after Spencer was posted bond, he was released, and he's charged with second degree homicide and something else. But I mean, but I don't understand. Hey, Butterfly Kisses, good to see you. Welcome in. Yep, Josh says, when the legal system fails persistently, it frustrates, contorts, and perpetuates the temptation for people to resort to, mountain justice. Absolutely. What we would call in these parts, good old country justice, good old boy justice, back road justice. I don't think I have either. Avery said, I'm not sure if I have ever seen a case streamed out of Arkansas. I don't think I have either. So I'm unsure, because somebody had asked earlier if Arkansas was a no camera state, as in no cameras in the courtroom. I'm not sure. I will have to look that up. Hey, Miss PJ, good to see you, ma'am. Always good to see you. Mustang's in Arkansas, but she's up in Northwest Arkansas. She says, even I have heard of Lonoke County. Oh, there's people that don't even live in the United States that know of Lonoke County. I'm telling you, corrupt, lots of alleged, lots of alleged corruption that goes on and has gone on for years and years and years in this county. And I just happen to be lucky enough to live right smack dab in the middle of it. Yep, it is definitely getting national attention. See, that's what I thought. Josh says, according to RT Digital News Association, cameras in courts in Arkansas are the judge's discretion, and only one television and one still camera are allowed at a time. Yeah, so now I don't know about this new judge that whoever they appointed to preside over the trial, but if Miss Barbara Elmore, the judge that was going to preside over the trial, she definitely, I can tell you right now, she would not have allowed anything. No cameras, no audio, nothing. I can tell you right now, with 99.99% certainty, she would not have allowed it. Avery says, my cousin lives in Forsyth. Yep, I know where that is, near Branson. I wonder if it's that way for her too. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely in for Josh's alien conspiracy live. Yeah, Doodle says, even if they castrate, they find other ways to hurt children. Yeah, it's so heartbreaking. Hey, JP. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome, welcome. He says, not cool, and no, they cannot. I don't know what you mean. I'm behind. Let me see. Let me get caught up, and then I will get the, what did I say I was going to do next? Oh, the list of charges, which they're basically, it's just the same charges over and over again. 46 of them, 43 of them, however many of them there were. PJ says, is this the January 6th guy? January 6th. No, this is Aaron Spencer. This is the man who took out the man that had been essaying and grooming this predator. Michael Fossler ended up taking him out after Fossler had once again broken the no contact order, and he probably lured Spencer's daughter out of the house in the truck, had taken off with her, and then fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, for Mr. Fossler, Mr. Spencer, the father ended up catching up to Mr. Fossler before the police did, and took care of him. And so now he has been charged with, I think, a second-degree homicide and something else. So that is who we're talking about. What is the January 6th guy? You have to explain that to me. Once again, hello to JP. Always good to have him here. There's Miss Peggy. Hey, Miss Peggy. Good to see you, ma'am. I'm glad you made it. Absolutely. Stormy says, you don't even have to be in the same room or touch a child. You can psychologically damage them just by having a conversation. Yes. We know that from, once again, we're not going to talk about it a whole lot, but from the thing that has happened the last couple of days within our community. That is just as damaging. You are correct, ma'am. Yep, there we go. There's Miss Doodlebug's summation. Yes, we do have a good crowd tonight. JP says not Predator versus Alien. That was a good movie. Was it Predator versus Alien? That was a good movie. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Oh, were you talking about like the January 6th thing that happened at the Capitol? Yeah, there was, God. Yeah, there was a couple of people, one guy in particular from Arkansas that was a part of that. I didn't know he ran for office, though. PJ says, yeah, there was a J6er running for office or something that did the same thing. Oh, So I was confused. Now I'm confused. JP said obsession is an ugly thing sometimes. Exactly. What is it? Miss Peggy's belated birthday? Happy belated birthday, Miss Peggy. Let me see. Yeah, Stormy says he had a sick talking about Fossler. He had a sick obsession that could have ended really bad for the child. Yeah, like I said, I believe, in just my opinion, in my heart, that he that night that he intended to, either, if not that night, sometime in the future, he was going to disappear with her and get rid of her at some point. Due to the fact a lot of that she was going to testify against him at his trial. Now, it could have been that he was gonna, because it was not too long before the trial was supposed to start that this happened. I think it was just a matter of maybe days, weeks, maybe not longer than a month. Maybe he was that night he took her with the purpose of trying to talk her out of testifying. That could have been it. And depending on what she decided to do, said, yeah, okay, I won't testify. Then maybe he would have let her go back home. Or if she said, no, I'm still going to testify, something worse could have happened. I don't know. That, it could have been that. I don't know. Possibility. Yeah, JP says we have a system crippled by distractions. Absolutely. Doodle says Missouri and Arkansas are two of the worst for trying to get justice against a predator. I agree. Doodle says Florida is hardcore. They give them the DP if under 12. Oh, Miss PJ is apparently down a rabbit hole researching something. Let me see. So Mustang says, yes, cameras are still not allowed in a lot of Arkansas. Paula says, times have changed. The judge may not have a choice in the matter. I don't know. It's Arkansas. More importantly, it's Lonoke County, Arkansas. So, oh, you agree with me because I said that Prep, could not be rehabbed. He was agreeing. Thank you. Josh says he has mixed feelings about cameras in the courtroom. Yeah, and see, if they were to allow cameras in the courtroom for this particular trial, I absolutely don't think, or believe that they should show the daughter's face, because they have obviously not shown her face in any media or pictures or anything, which is completely understandable, and I think that's the way it should be. But as far as like testimony, I mean, at least audio, maybe not her audio, her testimony, if it's, because I'm sure it's probably very disturbing, very graphic, very traumatizing to her. But it's a fine line. I agree. It's a fine line, Josh. I very much agree with you. Paula wants to know, by any chance, was there anyone from West Memphis, Arkansas involved with January 6th? I have no clue. I just know there were people from Arkansas that were involved. So PJ did her research. She said, I further researched and the pictures are similar. The J6er was found guilty of SA Andrew Paul Johnson. Different color hair. His hair is lighter and facial hair. No, in this case, the offender, the predator, is Michael Foster. The accused, the father, is Aaron Spencer. Stormy says, I think that the old saying, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, definitely applies here. Yeah. Okay. Josh is talking about the aliens. JP says, we need a community live for those who need to air their frustration about what happened. I'm sure people got things to say about it. Yeah, and like I said, I'm barring anything that comes up, I am planning to do another live Friday night, and we can definitely, whoever wants to talk about it can. Most definitely, it kind of be like an open forum. So yeah, but I just, like I said, tonight, I had to take a break from it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overloaded. I've had a headache for like 2 days now, just from, I feel like my head's going to explode with dealing with trying to process everything. So I'm like, I got to take a break. Got to take a break. Doodles says, in my head, it's how far would you go to protect your child? I'm sorry, but for me, as far as I had to. Absolutely. Yes, she was a minor. She was just 13 years old. 13 years old. Barely a teenager even. Let me get caught up, and then we'll go over quickly the charges, or I said it's just a rinse and repeat on the charges. Oh, I understand what you're saying, JP. Said it's just not good to bottle it. I agree. I agree. Okay, I'm caught up. So let me see if it will. Let me mark where I was at so I won't get lost. Let me see if it will screen share. Let me find the list of charges. There we go. Yes, I accept the disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so give me 1 second. Oh, I might have to do it. No, trying to find, I got too many videos loaded here. I'm trying, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, share screen. Share. It might take a minute for it to pop up. All right. Make it a little bigger. Hopefully you guys can see it fairly well. Might have made it too big. All right, so this State of Arkansas versus Michael Foster. This is what he was going to be charged with, but he got taken out before the trial. So let's get down to the charges. Number 1, internet stalking of a child. 2, same thing. 3, SA, 4th degree. 4, same thing. 5, indecency with a child. 6, same thing. Number 7, electronic facilitation of CSAM. 8, pandering or possessing medium depiction of CSAM. That is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, number 22, number 23. It's all the same thing. Pandering or possessing CSAM, depicting a minor. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So those are the charges. 43. Consisting mostly of pandering or possessing CSAM, depicting, and then the first ones were internet stalking, and then two internet stalking, and then 2 essays, and then 2 essay indecencies, and then 1 electronic facilitation of CSA. So those are the charges. So yeah, 43 in all, just against Aaron Spencer's daughter. All right, so I think now we're going to go into, all right, I got a video. The first video I'm going to play is 2 different. So in the first one, it's going to give, so I'm going to do my best to not be biased for or against either one. Definitely not for anything Fossler related, Fossler did. But there were some things that did come to light that Aaron Spencer had said and done that could possibly be construed as premeditation. So the first part of the video is going to be discussing some of our local news discussing that. And I will pause it probably a couple of times just so I don't get any copyright things, whatever. And then the second part of the video is regarding lost evidence. Surprise, surprise. Wait a minute. Oh, Josh says, good night, y'all. Appreciate all of you. I'll see you on Friday. Thank you very much for being here, Josh. I keep pushing my camera. Thank you, Josh. Always good to see Josh here. Once again, please check out Where Lavender Grows. He said, I'll see you Friday. Looking forward to it. Josh had said that's way too big given that 1 charge is too much. Exactly. Yeah, 43 charges. 43. All right. So let me put this video up. And if I can find the right one, I tried to put them in order when I was putting them in. All right, here we go.
Good evening. We begin tonight in Lonoke County in a race that's drawing national attention. Aaron Spencer, who's currently facing a second-degree murder charge, has won the Republican nomination for Lonoke County Sheriff.
Spencer was arrested in 2024, accused of shooting and killing a man he had found alone with his then 14-year-old daughter. And now he is the nominee. It is an unusual, perhaps unprecedented situation. Channel 7's Andrew Mobley joins us now live in studio with more on what's next here. Andrew?
The question now is, will Spencer even be able to run in November's general election because of his pending court case?
I've never had a defendant be running for...
Hold on, that was the wrong video. Sorry. Wrong video. I think this is the right video.
And tonight with new information in the case of Aaron Spencer. Hello, and thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Faith Woodard.
And I'm Brooke Buckner. The case has received national attention since his arrest last year, and that continued after he announced he would be running for sheriff in Lonoke County last month. Spencer is accused of killing a man who at the time faced more than 40 child sex crime charges involving his 14-year-old daughter. He argues he was protecting her and pleaded not guilty. He has the support of more than 360,000 in a petition backing his actions.
Now, according to his attorney, he is running in hopes of bringing to light the failures in the system, but if he's convicted, he won't be able to serve. Tonight, THV 11's Carter Thwee gets us up to speed on how the case is unfolding.
Prosecutors attempting to paint a picture that Aaron Spencer planned to kill 67-year-old Michael Fossler even before he found Fossler with his 14-year-old daughter on October 8, 2024. That theory emerged in a legal brief late last week. His defense says his actions before the shooting aren't relevant. The state says they are, and included several new details in their reasoning. Prosecutors highlighted Spencer's conduct 3 months before the killing, prior to Fossler's arrest in July on more than 40 charges and counts. accounts. The state says Spencer asked an acquaintance of Fossler's for the man's address. He allegedly told that person, quote, "Don't call anyone. Don't call the police." But word did get out, and as investigators looked into the rape, 2 Lonoke County sheriff's officers showed up to Spencer's home. A transcript of their conversation, recorded by body cam in July, is in the state's filing. Spencer questions how much prison time Fossler might face. He asks the officers, what's going to happen? 3 to 5? He's rolling around, cruising, grooming? He then refers to another child abuser and says, quote, "He's going to get back out, isn't he?" Indicating his belief that the same would happen with Fossler. One of the deputies warned Spencer, saying, "We don't live in a country where you can take the law into your own hands." Spencer responds with an expletive. The prosecution saying all of this proves Spencer had an intent to kill, saying, quote, "His understandable rage did not give him the legal right to kill Fossler." Ultimately, that'll be up to a jury in a trial for second-degree murder set for January 26th of next year.
Thank you, Carter.
Would help if I turn my mic back on. All right, so, and my camera. So, yes, the argument can be made that maybe he was premeditated. It was premeditated, just going off of that. But as always, let me know what you think in chat or if you're watching replay. But it could be, we'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. He could be, would just want to go over there and say, hey, look, stay away from my daughter. You've been warned. You have a no contact order. If you don't stay away from her, then something might happen. Could have been that. We don't know. We don't know. Exactly. Doodle says, what parent wouldn't have thought about what if their child's predator does it again? Exactly. Exactly. So, you know. Doodle says, I can see that he needed the address just in case. Yeah. And it could have been, like I said, he might not have, even though well, I don't know if he was asking for somebody for Fossler's address, he might not have known where I'm sure Fossler obviously didn't want Spencer to know where he lived. Maybe he was asking this person for the address just in case, you know, whenever his daughter disappeared again, he would know where to look, where to go look for her. JP says, I would be in jail. There would be no predators to convict. All right, so this next part, I mentioned earlier about some evidence, surprise, surprise, once again in Arkansas, that had went missing and then maybe showed up again, but then got lost again. I'm still unsure because they said that whenever it does go to trial, they don't know if this particular evidence, which in my opinion, and when you hear what it is key piece of evidence. Yeah, Paula says, if he gets convicted, all it takes is one juror. Yep. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, when this goes to trial, and I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. I'm sure they probably will. But if the prosecution does not ask for a change of venue, because as far as I know, it's going to be held in Lonoke, the county seat at the Lonoke courthouse. I can just my opinion, I can pretty much tell you that considering if they take the jury pool from Lonoke and the surrounding towns here, they're going to be hard pressed to find a jury to convict him. That's just in all transparency, that I'm just telling you. Like I said, I live smack dab in the middle of it. I've heard talk. I've been hearing talk. They're going to be hard pressed to find anybody, for one, who hasn't heard of it, and for two, who would be willing to convict. Just saying. Yeah, Doodle said he very well may get life in prison, but the predator won't be hurting any more children. Absolutely. Yeah, JP says predators don't survive prison sometimes. Yeah, that is the one thing you can say about the prison system is they do not abide anybody who hurts children for the most part. Doodle says, right, JP, but now I have seen many do just fine in this evil world. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to play the second part concerning this lost evidence.
Proceedings for the man running for sheriff in Lonoke County wrapped up today. Aaron Spencer is on trial for killing the man who allegedly sexually abused his daughter. Tanya Motorsitsky was at the hearing today that was centered around missing evidence detectives admitted to losing.
The focus during the last day of Aaron Spencer's pretrial hearing was not the gunfire or grief, but about what jurors may never get to see. Attorneys debated about dash cam footage from Michael Fossler's truck that no longer exists and who's responsible for that loss. During Thursday's hearing, it was discovered the lead detective on the investigation did not properly put the dash cam video of the incident into evidence within a timely manner. The investigator told attorneys he had it in his office, and it wasn't until a year later, just this past October, when the dash cam was properly submitted into evidence. Then earlier this month, the SD card for the dash cam was reported missing. The detective acknowledged the violation, telling the court he secured the card properly in the camera. Prosecution says the mistake on the detective's behalf was not in bad faith and there is not any Brady violation. While the defense says sound from the video would let us know what happened in real time. We caught up with Spencer's attorney, Aaron Casanelli, after pretrial.
It should shock the conscience of the court that that item of evidence has obvious, substantial value. I just can't imagine why it wasn't immediately preserved. And, you know, I think the testimony today was a lot of mistakes were made, and I can understand. I mean, we're all human. I understand mistakes. But once mistakes pile up to a certain degree, they're no longer mistakes.
The DA's office declined to give a comment, but Casanelli says they're preparing for trial and shared how Spencer is holding up.
You know, he's anxious. This is a terrible experience all the way around, and he's ready to get it over with. So we're looking forward to trial in January.
That was Tanya Motorsitsky reporting. The judge didn't make a ruling yet on if the missing dash cam footage can be used during trial, but said she'd have an answer on that after the holidays.
So there you go. We have once again in Arkansas missing evidence and crucial missing evidence. Because if you missed it, thank you, Stormy. Stormy says, I'm heading to bed. Good night, everyone. Thank you. You're welcome. And thank you for being here, Miss Stormy. Please check out Stormy's channel. Absolutely. But yeah, just so happens that this evidence was apparently Fossler had a dash cam of some kind in his vehicle. And apparently he had it running, recording that night, assumably. But it mysteriously got lost, then refound, and then lost again. But then at the end, they said they don't know if the missing evidence will be admitted into evidence. If it's missing, how would you admit it into evidence anyway? But yeah, definitely key evidence as to what did happen that night, even if it's just audio. Maybe we could see, was it self-defense? What did Fossler say? Aaron Spencer freely gave his testimony according to him of what he said and what happened. So yeah, it's just very strange that that would just happen to disappear. And like the lady said, you know, people, you know, mistakes are made, but when the mistakes start adding up, they do, you know, it becomes a pattern. What audio are you talking about? JP says, do you got the audio? What audio are you talking about, JP? The audio from that they were talking about the evidence? No, it's who knows who has it or if it even still exists. I don't know. Or are you talking about the audio? Was the audio for the video playing? Could you hear the audio? Let me know, because that was a very important bit of information. You're losing me, JP. You said audio demographics matter. Okay. Okay, so what are we doing next? Right, so this is Barbara Elmore. This is Judge Barbara Elmore. She is a judge that was supposed to, and I cannot make it. I hope you guys can read that off the slide. What calls are you talking about, JP? You have to explain. You know me, I get confused. So this is Barbara Elmore. Let me get my article up. She was going to be the original judge. So before I get to that, so shortly after all this happened, she immediately put a gag order on everything. And nobody on either side was to talk about anything to do regarding this case. So this article is from May of 2025, Arkansas. Is that the one that I wanted? Hold on, let me make sure I got the right article. Yeah. So she put the gag order on, and then it went all the way. They had to take it all the way up to the Arkansas Supreme Court to lift the gag. They lifted the gag order. So this is from KATV.com, which is one of our local news affiliates. And it's from, like I said, May 2025. The Arkansas Supreme Court has overturned a gag order that had silenced public discussion in the widely followed case of Aaron Spencer, a Lonoke County father charged with second-degree homicide in the fatal pew-pewing of Michael Foster in October of 2024. Once again, Spencer was arrested for taking the life of Foster after he found him inside a truck with his missing 14-year-old daughter late at night. In a strongly worded opinion issued Thursday, the state's highest court granted Spencer's petition for a writ of, I'm going to butcher this, writ of certiorari. I don't know what that is. Rebuking the gag order imposed by Lonoke County Circuit Judge Barbara Elmore. The justices concluded that the broad restriction on speech infringed on core First Amendment rights and lacked sufficient justification. Justice Nicholas Broney concurred with other justices on the matter, saying, quote, public officials are not immune from public criticism, judges and prosecutors included. Because the circuit court's gag order violates that principle, I join the majority's opinion, granting the writ and vacating that order. But that sweeping order is only one part of a troubling pattern of attempts to shield this case from public view, beginning with a non-public arraignment. So nobody was allowed in the courtroom during the arraignment, and ending with a handwritten note sealing the entire case from public view. He goes on to say, we cannot allow that pattern to continue unchecked. So I would invoke this court's superintending authority and reassign this matter to a new circuit court judge. Anything less suggests that what's happened so far is within the acceptable range of disagreement or administration, and it isn't. Begin with the gag order itself. On its face, that order targets a broad swath of people, barring them from expressing an opinion or making any comment about whether the evidence tends to establish the guilt or innocence of the defendant. Worse, the order itself was sealed, raising serious concerns about selective enforcement. And it doesn't explain why such an extreme remedy was warranted. Instead, just declaring that it would help ensure all parties get a fair trial, nor did the circuit court explain why it extended the gag order beyond what even the state thought was appropriate, broadening it to cover the defendant's family and even more significantly, sealing the entire case. So yeah, Judge Elmore didn't want nobody say nothing about nothing. And in my opinion, it was to protect Fossler. Fossler had been is former law enforcement, and in my opinion, that had something to do with it. It wasn't. I don't believe he was law enforcement in Arkansas. I can't remember exactly what state he was law enforcement in. And once again, just why do they want to protect the predator? Anyway. The article goes on to say the gag order requested by prosecutors in December of 2024 was prompted by public statements from Spencer's defense attorneys, Aaron Casanelli and Michael Kaiser, who characterized their client as a heroic father acting in defense of his family. Prosecutors contended that such remarks could prejudice potential jurors and undermine the integrity of the trial process. Well, I can tell you right now, the potential jurors, like I said earlier, already, for the most part, now not all, but the majority of potential jurors have already made up their mind about which way they think, about what they think. And I'm telling you, it's not landing on the side of Fossler. So in response, the court imposed a broad restriction prohibiting attorneys, law enforcement, and court personnel from making any public statements related to the case. Today's ruling restores the ability of parties involved in the case to engage in public discourse ahead of Spencer's scheduled trial, provided their statements adhere to legal and professional standards. The decision is expected to influence how Arkansas courts assess and apply gag orders in future high-profile cases, potentially setting a significant legal precedent. Excuse me. So Aaron Casanelli and Michael Kaiser, who are Mr. Spencer's attorneys, released the following statement. Quote, today's opinions from the Arkansas Supreme Court are clear and unequivocal. The circuit court in this case was wrong in every facet of its entry of a gag order in this case. The opinions also make clear what should be obvious to anyone. The circuit court has demonstrated a pattern of efforts to shield the proceedings and its role in them from the public. The question that must be asked is why. At least 3 justices found it obvious self-preservation for them, not justice. From the prosecutor's request for a sweeping gag order to the circuit court, sealing the entire case in barely enough time to make a pot of coffee. Yes, she did it very quickly. It is clear that the prosecutor and circuit court intended to stifle exactly what the First Amendment protects: criticism of elected officials. Indeed, the motion for the gag order was made in response to criticism of the prosecutor and the circuit court, rightful criticisms of their actions that, quote, set off a chain of events that led to the fatal confrontation that's the subject of this case. So I forgot to mention earlier. So we talked about that after Mr. Fossler was arrested, he got out on $50,000 bond. Guess who the judge was that released him on the $50,000 bond? I'll just finish reading this and let's see if y'all can guess who the judge was that let him out. Okay, so going back to the statement by the prosecution attorneys. It says, in fact, there remains no record of a public court proceeding that explains how or why the circuit court imposed a wholly ineffective bond on Michael Fossler that served to protect nobody. As the court expressed, it is imperative in our system that the public be permitted to see the operations of justice, and that is especially important in a case like this one, where the public has a strong interest in a justice system that treats Aaron Spencer's and others fairly and justly, but also in a justice system that acts prudently to protect the public when necessary. When the light of transparency shines through, it is clear that neither the prosecutor nor the circuit court have operated to fulfill those important public interests as it relates to Michael's Fossler or the Spencer family. It is no routine matter that 3 justices on our highest court felt it important enough to formalize their belief that the circuit court's actions in this case were so entrenched and troubling that another judge should take over in the case. It is important to remember, too, that these unacceptable and unconstitutional efforts to stifle speech and foreclose criticism are not just the circuit court's efforts, but the prosecuting attorneys as well. We hope that both officials take care to remove themselves from this case so as to indicate to the public that they understand and appreciate that fairness, transparency, and maintaining the appearance of impropriety are critical to our justice system. Thankfully, this state's highest court took great care in its analysis and made it very clear that this behavior is unconstitutional and intolerable. The court has given clear guidelines for gag orders that will help the public, litigants, and courts across the state appropriately assess case-related speech as balanced with a strong First Amendment protections that are a bedrock of our society. No longer will state courts be permitted to allow a prosecutor to release alarming and potentially misleading information, while a circuit court blanketly restricts a citizen's public explanation of his innocence. Gag orders are a last resort, not a first impulse. We appreciate the Arkansas Supreme Court turning the lights back on in Lonoke County, end quote. So Spencer, of course, he is out on bond while awaiting the trial. His defense maintains that the incident was a lawful act of self-defense under Arkansas law after Mr. Spencer discovered Michael Fossler in the company of his missing teenage daughter. So has anybody guessed who the judge was that let Mr. Fossler out on the $50,000 bond? And who was going, well, that'll give it away. It's not hard to figure out. JP says, I was just wondering if there was any audio at all about that case available to be able to be heard, the one you were just on. About this case, the Spencer case? No, there's just what's been reported on TV. And whatever you can read in news articles. But I can tell you right now, if you Google Aaron Spencer or Michael Fossler, all you're going to find is things about Aaron Spencer, the crime. You're not going to find anything, very little about Michael Fossler, his crimes relating to this case, his alleged past crimes against other victims, at least one that has come forward. Like I said earlier, in my opinion, there's probably more. Hey, Patriotism, good to have you here. Welcome. No, if there is any interrogation interviews or calls, they've not been released. Nope. Like I said, Lonoke County Court is not going to release anything. Nothing. Unless they are ordered to. And you see what I just read, they had to go all the way up to the Arkansas Supreme Court to even lift the gag order so people could even talk about it. So they're not going to release any interrogation interviews or calls. Let me see. JP says doodle for president. Hey, Boston Christian, good to see you. Welcome. What? You reported me accidentally? Wait, Boston says, hey, I accidentally hit something and I filed some report against the web. What? It'll let me, I don't know. I should get some kind of a notification. Doodle says she wouldn't be a good president. Good night, Miss Paula. Good to have you here, ma'am. Getting caught up. No guesses on who the judge was that let Mr. Foster out? Hold on 1 second. I gotta blow my nose. All right, I'm back. Can you guys hear me? I'm not getting anything here. So it was a good Judge Barbara Elmore is the one. Okay. Good Judge Barbara Elmore here was the one who let Mr. Foster out on the $50,000 bail that led to Mr. Foster being out, breaking his no contact order, and then this incident happens. Yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine, Boston. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So Judge Elmore was the one that let him out, and she was the one that was originally going to preside over Aaron Spencer's case. So there you go. All right, so what do we have next that I was going to go over? So thankfully, Judge Elmore was removed from the case after she was asked to recuse herself from the case. She refused to recuse herself. So once again, they went up to the Arkansas Supreme Court. They intervened. They removed her from the case. So this article is from January of this year, 2026. Judge removed as Arkansas Supreme Court intervenes in Aaron Spencer case. So the Arkansas Supreme Court has intervened directly in the trial court's handling of the case in the Aaron Spencer case, issued a rule granting the defense's petition and ordering several key changes. In its decision, the court vacated the gag order imposed by Judge Barbara Elmore, removed her from further involvement in the case, and stayed the prosecution until a special circuit court judge is appointed. And I think that's what they're waiting on. But then again, I think I read that they had appointed a new judge. And it's still not certain when the trial is going to start. But I think I heard of one of the news reports the other day, maybe in May, sometime in May, July, somewhere around there. So this ruling also comes after members of the Arkansas House of Representatives formally raised concerns about whether Spencer was receiving a fair trial. In a letter to state officials, lawmakers cited the Supreme Court's prior finding that the trial court violated Spencer's First Amendment rights through an overly broad gag order, noting that the violation was established by court ruling rather than speculation. The legislators also expressed concern over continued restrictions on public access to the proceedings and the use of heightened security measures, warning that such actions could undermine the presumption of innocence and Spencer's right to a fair trial. While emphasizing respect for judicial independence, the lawmakers said they have a constitutional responsibility to ensure accountability across all branches of government and to safeguard constitutional rights. Representative David Reyes said, quote, given the high profile nature of this case and the fact that there have already been concerns about previous court orders, it is fair to ask that every effort be made to ensure a fair trial. In our system, he goes on to say, in our system of justice, people are innocent until proven guilty, and public trials exist so that people can see for themselves whether justice is done. It goes back to the transparency, obviously. So the Arkansas Supreme Court's latest decision restores public access, reassigns the case to a new judge, and pauses prosecution until a special circuit judge is appointed. Court officials have not provided additional comment, but the case is expected to resume once new judicial oversight is in place. So Miss Elmore, Judge Elmore, was removed. And also something else that came out of this was the right before the primary started last week, the court clerk resigned. And she said the reason that she resigned was because, in so many words, she said the reason that she resigned was because of pressure and just, I forgot exactly what word she used. Basically, pressure she was getting regarding this case. So that's another thing that came out of this. What are you talking about, JP? Yeah, Mustang says those reports don't usually matter. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Peggy. She says, catch the rest later. Sister's calling. Yes. Thank you, Miss Peggy, for being here. Tell sis that we said hi. Yes, Mustang says, please do all the things. Yeah, JP says, isn't that ironic? Fair trial for the accused, but no fairness to the victims. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, Judge Elmore was the one who let Foster out of jail. She was the one that was originally going to preside over Aaron Spencer's case. Not anymore, thank goodness. So yeah, just a whole lot of shady shite going on. But thankfully, the Arkansas Supreme Court did step in and trying to get things back on the right track here. But on a sad note, I mean, I've been, I've never been fond of Judge Elmore. I have been in her court before when I had jury duty. I was never in her court. I was never got picked to be on the jury, but I had to sit in there when I just, and never had a fondness for her. I just didn't like the way she ran her courtroom. And I did not know her personally, but of course, being in the small community, she and her husband do live. Well, actually, I was going to say, sadly, just a few days ago, maybe a week ago, her husband, Danny, passed away. So, but I'd had occasion, to just, see her out and about in the community. And actually, I don't know if I should be saying this, but actually we did, and my mom kind of is about the same age, maybe a little bit older than Barbara and her late husband. But we went to one of the country concerts we went to, and we happened to run in to Judge Elmore and Danny, her husband, and stopped and talked to him for a minute, and they were both 12 sheets to the wind. We were just hoping to God that they had a designated driver. And this was after the concert. But they were, you say 2 sheets to the wind or whatever. They were like both 12 sheets to the wind, and hope to God that they had a designated driver on the way home. But anyway, yeah, JP says things that make you go, chocolate covered crap. Yeah. All right, so where are we at now? We're almost done. We're almost caught up here. What do we have next? Now my computer's decided to, let me see what my next article is. Of course, now it's going to take its sweet time to load. Right, so now, I think we are to, so after this incident happened and Spencer was arrested, released on bond, sometime after that, he decided he was going to run for sheriff of Lonoke County. So, of course, that was the whole other big thing here. So I'm going to read an article, and then I think I do have a video of some reaction to when he announced that he was going to run for sheriff of Lonoke County. Ironically, against the current sheriff, John Staley, who was overseeing the Spencer case. So this article is from News Nation. It is from October 2025. An Arkansas man accused of taking out his teenage daughter's alleged abuser announced his candidacy for county sheriff this month and is starting to gain real traction. Aaron Spencer, 37, who is accused of taking out a 67-year-old man he discovered in a car with his 14-year-old daughter in 2024, announced that he is running for sheriff of rural Lonoke County. Spencer made the announcement in a video posted to Facebook while he is out on bond awaiting a trial set for early next year. He does face second-degree homicide and firearm enhancement charges. So it just goes over what we've already talked about, the crime. So why is Spencer running for sheriff? So Spencer is running for sheriff to what he says to fix the failure that allowed the alleged offender, abuser, predator to reach his daughter. He is facing three-term incumbent John Staley, whose department arrested Spencer. Spencer said in the video announcing his candidacy, quote, many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. And through my own fight for justice, I've seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court, and I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures, end quote. So the primary election, it was held last week. The general election is in November of this year. So Jennifer Hopper, who chairs the Lonoke County Republican Committee, told the Associated Press that most people in the county don't have a problem with Spencer running for sheriff, adding that many believe the shooting was justified. So Spencer has pleaded not guilty, obviously. His attorneys acknowledged that he took the life of Foster, but argued that he acted within the law to protect his daughter. One of Spencer's attorneys, Aaron Casanelli, wrote in an email to the Associated Press, quote, we believe it is clear that Aaron was justified under Arkansas law in taking action to protect his daughter and himself, and we believe that will be apparent at the trial, end quote. So see, that's what I'm saying. Talk around town. There's definitely more people that have sided with Spencer than obviously with Foster. Okay, so let me see I got to remember which video is next. I think it's the one I started playing a while ago. And okay, so I played that one. I'm trying to find the right video. Hold on. I thought I had them in order here. Let me see if this is the right one. Hold on.
Blood. Would you get your vote? This is not a parlor game. This actually happened a year ago in Arkansas. On that night,
Not the right one.
Aaron
Hold
Spencer
on.
was.
Hold on. I thought I had them in order. Let me go. Hold on. Let me go to my phone and see if I can get the right one. I don't know. Maybe I did want to play this one. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Banfield, but I did find this, and she does make some good points. And then she does interview a former prosecutor. I think she said the lady she interviews was a former prosecutor. Then she was a defense attorney. But they make some good points. So let me restart that one.
Desperately looking for his 14-year-old daughter. Police said that she had been stalked repeatedly and raped. Cold blood. Would you get your vote? I told you a candidate for county sheriff chased another man down, ran his vehicle off the road, and then shot him dead in cold blood. Would you get your vote? This is not a parlor game. This actually happened a year ago in Arkansas. On that night, Aaron Spencer was desperately looking for his 14-year-old daughter. Police said that she had been stalked repeatedly and raped at 13 by a 67-year-old man named Michael Fossler. And that night, his daughter was missing. When the girl's father spotted the suspect driving down a dirt road with his daughter in Fossler's front seat, he took off after him, understandably. That driver had more than 24 stalking and sex crime charges pending, involving both the child in his truck and another girl. Somehow, Michael Fossler was out.
See, that's where I'm going to try to pause in between because I don't know about News Nation if they are picky about who plays their videos. I don't want to get copyright strike, but yeah, that is where I heard about this. At least one other victim, that is alleged victim that has come forward. So yeah.
About that night because he was free on a mere $50,000 bond that he had no trouble posting, and it seems he had no trouble violating a no contact order either. And so, police say, the girl's dad, Aaron Spencer, ran him off the road and shot him dead and got his daughter. That dad himself is now free on bond and campaigning. That's his campaign picture. He's campaigning to become the new sheriff, despite a looming second-degree murder trial this coming January. But in his video announcement, he says it is not about revenge against the sheriff who arrested him.
This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side, and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need.
So next March, this man, Aaron Spencer, is going to stand in the Republican primary for sheriff of Lonoke County in Arkansas. He threw his hat in the ring just last week. And while he has pleaded not guilty to the murder count, he's not exactly running away from what happened the night of October 8th, 2024. The incumbent sheriff, John Staley, tells News Nation, and I quote, "My motto has been and will continue to be, do what's right, not what's easy. Doing what's right isn't always popular." And I cannot wait to hear my next guest and her take on all of this, because Tarlika Nunes Navarro is a former judge. She's also a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney who's now the dean of the St. Thomas University College of Law. Judge, so good to have you. What is your first impression of Aaron Spencer's case?
Actually, when you think it just can't get any weirder and weirder, every time I see you, we have another case that we're shocked at. just a man that is defending his daughter goes out, finds his daughter in a truck with a sexual predator, rams him, shoots him, kills him, is on trial for murder, will be tried in January, and at the same time is running for sheriff. It's almost mind-blowing. And as a defense attorney, it's crazy, because when I put my defense attorney hat on and I think about, possible venue relocation, this is not good for him, because, the community is going to know him. They're going to recognize him. The voir dire is going to last longer. You're not going to find jurors who are going to be unbiased, and it's going to be good for the prosecution when their cases move to another venue. So as a defense attorney, this is not a good idea.
Well, so I'm looking ahead to that trial. And if there were ever a trial where I could, in the crystal ball, see a case for jury nullification, it's this one. And for those who are new to this program or new to true crime, jury nullification is when a jury looks at the guy and says, yeah, he did it, but I ain't going to convict him. That's what I foresee likely happening in this case. And then I want to transfer that to the actual campaign, because if the notion out there is any parent would do the same thing, could this actually help him win? Like the campaign.
Of course. I mean, name recognition, getting out there, all of this, new defendants become micro celebrities. We're seeing more and more of it, just like your previous case with Luigi. We're seeing it time and time again. Of course, it's going to help his campaign, but is it going to help his murder charge? No, like I said. And jury nullification, judges don't like it. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to encourage it. We have to have rule of law. We have to have accountability in our system. If we all go out there and we take the law into our own hands, it's going to cause a breakdown in our judicial system.
So quick last answer here, but I got to ask it. If he prevails as sheriff and he prevails in his murder case through a not guilty plea or jury nullification, if that's the case, what does that say about, implementing justice when he himself extrajudicially committed this murder allegedly now, but let's just sort of foresee that?
Well, if he is acquitted of this crime, then the system is essentially saying that he did not commit this crime, or the jury is saying, yes, the facts are there, but we are not going to commit him because we don't believe that the law should be upheld here. So then if that is the case, then the law is doing what the law is supposed to do. And the jurors, his peers, are acquitting him. And so he could realistically, yes, then run for sheriff, but then he would have to hold other people accountable. And if he's not really being held accountable for the crime that he has committed, can he really be a sheriff? And is that what we really want for our sheriffs? I don't know.
As much as you say judges hate to hear about jury nullification, I think a lot of our viewers are kind of like hoping for it in this case, because I can hear them. I can hear them all through the screen right now saying, I'd have done it. And I got to be honest with you, Judge, I think I would have done it too if that was my baby in that car. Thank you for having this philosophical and, extraordinarily important jurisprudential conversation. I look forward to our next talk.
It's great to see you, Ashley. Have a good night.
All right, so I just thought that was interesting, and I said, I mean, Ashley Benfield's okay. There's some things I'm like, with her, but I just, she brought out the points that I was talking about earlier about the finding the jury pool, the jury nullification, so many people that are, I don't know what say in favor or understand why Spencer did what he did. I think they're going to be hard pressed to find a jury around here. So as far as I know, I don't think of course it's everything is halted right now until they get the judge and get a new judge and everything sorted out, whatever. But I'm sure the prosecution will ask for a change of venue to somewhere out of the county. I don't know where it'll be. But yeah. Yeah, y'all had some very good comments. I marked. Yeah, Doodle says talking about the jury selection or depends on how many have trauma from the very same issue. Many will give him grace, in my opinion. Absolutely. JP said he'll get something. I do think it'll be rough. Yeah, Doodle had said, honestly, I see him serving some kind of time. Yeah, I think he'll get something. But then again, I don't know. I mean, you just, maybe it's because, like I said, I'm right in the middle of it. I've heard the talk. I know what people think. And honestly, I do think he should get something. I mean, now, once again, if we had this missing evidence, if they find it and do admit it to court, and it does shed some light on exactly what happened, did Fossler, did he have a firearm? What did he say? Did he, what did he say when he got out of the truck? Whatever. Would definitely have some bearing on, maybe have some bearing on a conviction, or if they, if they say, yeah, I mean, it wasn't or wasn't self-defense. But I don't know. I think there's a chance that, just my opinion, a chance that he'll be found not guilty. But then again, I don't know. It's I think JP said, no, Doodle said it's going to be a weird but interesting trial. I know, it's going to be, it's going to be wild, very wild. Oh, Miss Avery's back. She says she's back. She had to walk the pups. Yeah, it does depend on the jury. Yeah, but I'm telling you, people around here are, just from what I've heard, they're very pro Spencer. Doodle says, Sheila, I look for charges to probably drop down some. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. JP says vigilante justice isn't exactly legal. I know, and I stated right from the very beginning of the live stream, I in no way condone or obviously am in favor of vigilante justice, things of that nature. But the purpose of me doing this live stream was just to show how, when the justice system fails, how these kind of things, how vigilante justice or vigilante actions can happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is what happens a lot of times when the system doesn't do its job. Just my opinion. But no, I'm in no way saying that vigilante justice is right. I mean, somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was JP, that, can you imagine, if the world was full, and I'm sure there are lots and lots of fathers out there who would do the same thing, but luckily it is illegal. I mean, you can't take the law into your own hands. But then again, I can see why and how it can happen. Yeah, Doodle says small towns and high profile cases are always a mess. Yes. Yep, definitely not legal at all. Oh my goodness. Miss Avery says Ania Blanchard's offender's trial is starting this week. Her offender also took the life of my husband's brother. Oh my goodness. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I agree. JP says, I think jury emotions will have mercy on him. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, Mustang. Yes, for Avery, praying for justice. Absolutely. Yes. See, that's the other thing. Doodle said, especially if the daughter testifies about what happened and how scared she was. There are several parts to this one. Yes. Yep. Because I'm assuming that she will be testifying, because I mean, they're basically the only witnesses that are left as to what actually happened are Spencer and the daughter, because Fossler is, he's no longer here to give his side. So, and with depending, and it's just another thing I thought about is because she had been stalked and preyed upon and groomed by Fossler for at least a year or more. So I'm just hoping that she's still not under, even though he's gone. And I'm sure God, just God bless her. It's just, she had to go through the trauma of being a victim. And then she got to go through the trauma of what happened that night. So I'm hoping that she's not still, even though Fossler's no longer here, under his influence and afraid of him, and will testify honestly to what happened that night. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how else to put it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Avery says, I don't know how many of you followed Ania's case, but it's huge. I will definitely look into it. JP said that's a horrible situation to be in as a father, though I feel for him. Absolutely. Yep, definitely. Doodle says it's a rock and a hard place. Miss Avery said, in her opinion, this guy should be found not guilty. Yep. Doodle said, so will the sheriff and the judge want what? So will the sheriff and the judge want? See, that's the question. Avery says, but is it vigilante justice or defending his daughter from imminent harm? That is the question. That's going to be the trial there. I'm assuming that's what obviously the defense is going to go for, is that it was self-defense. That the daughter was in imminent harm and Spencer acted to protect his daughter. Absolutely. And like I said before, in my opinion, in my heart, I feel that if Fossler would have gotten away with the daughter, she would no longer be with us. Whether it be that night or shortly thereafter, or at some point in the future, if he disappeared with her and, like I said earlier, locked her away somewhere and did unspeakable things to her, I truly believe that if he would have gotten away with her, if Spencer Aaron hadn't found him, that she would no longer be here. I truly believe that. Mustang says, she says 100% self-defense. See, and that's why I keep harping on it, but that missing evidence, the dash cam video from Fossler's truck, key, it would give, and they said it in that video I played, it would give insight into what exactly happened. Even if it's just audio, what was said, how did things start, how did they play out? Crucial. Doodle said, if the daughter will testify, I see him walking free. Yeah. And I'm assuming, no, I don't know. I'm assuming that she will testify whenever the trial starts, whenever Spencer's trial starts. I'm assuming that she will testify. Oh, I think I have heard of that one. Avery said, y'all have heard of Ania, Auburn student abducted and unalived. Dad was an MMA fighter. Yeah, I think I have heard of that. JP says, I used to have to deal with a dude that refused to stay away from my daughter. I can relate. Yep. Oh, I remember that one too. The sheriff that unalived the judge in Kentucky. What's going on with that case? We'll have to talk about that Friday too. I haven't heard a lot, or I haven't been keeping up with that one lately. Oh, thank you, Mustang. I just to get on here. I'm just a goofy woman who gets on here and tries to do my best and to bring awareness to things such as this. And then, of course, our main focus, the missing persons, and then solve cases. I don't do a whole lot of things like this, but once again, being in Arkansas, being so close to it, Doodle says, how did they get her home the first time? Oh God, I can't remember. Once again, they did not allow very little information about how they got her home. I don't remember if they actually found her and brought her home or if she came home willingly. I don't remember. I think she would just come home. She would disappear and then come home. They would be looking for her and then she would just come home. I could be mistaken. I mean, I'm sure they looked for her, but they knew about Foster because, like I said, that it had been going on for at least a year. That summer in 24, that whole summer, it had been going on at least, and probably before that. Because, like I said, they had taken out the restraining orders and all that stuff before. Are you talking about in this case? Wait a minute. What are you talking about in the Kentucky case? Doodle says, "Oh, the sheriff now has amnesia." Oh wow. Okay, so Doodle says, "How convenient! Right when he figured out his daughter wasn't involved with the judge, he remembers nothing and isn't guilty." Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I know it was at least that summer, the summer of 2024. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That had been going on, and maybe, sorry, maybe before then. But yeah, at least that. Yeah, it had been going on for a while. Hey, there's Miss Lisa Joe. How are you doing, my dear? Our Spice Girl, our bitchy Spice. We love you. Okay, so what do we got next? My screen went strong. So, as mentioned before, they had the primaries, the sheriff primaries last week, and Aaron Spencer did win the Republican nomination for sheriff. So, when they have the general election, whenever that is, in what, November, we will see what happens. Now, depending on what happens between, the general election is in November, right? And supposedly, the last I've heard, the trial may start somewhere around May and last till maybe July. They're thinking 2 or 3 months, maybe. So depending on what happens there. Now, obviously, if he is convicted, he won't be able to. If he's elected in the, he won't be able to be the sheriff. So they'll have to have either a special election or something about the quorum court will have to get involved. Yeah, he won the Republican nomination. So I think I have a video of some reaction to. Oh no. Elisa Jo says she thinks she has the Rona. I'm still testing, negative, but my boyfriend has it. Oh, bless your heart. Yes, I know. I love Lisa Jo's avatar. She says she's a sneezy spice right now. Okay, so I think I had an article and then a short video. Let me find the article. So Aaron Spencer wins primary, if it'll come up. It's going to take its sweet time to load. Aaron Spencer wins a primary for Lonoke County Sheriff in high-profile contest. And this is from articles from March 4th of this year. So in a primary race that drew national attention and raised questions about the future of local law enforcement, Aaron Spencer has emerged victorious, securing the Republican nomination for Lonoke County Sheriff and advancing to the November general election. Spencer's win caps a dramatic campaign shaped by intense personal tragedy and fierce debate over public safety, transparency, and justice in one of Arkansas's most closely watched local contests. Spencer told KATV, quote, "I am incredibly grateful to the people of Lonoke County for placing their trust in me. Thank you to everyone who supported this campaign, worked hard, and showed up to vote. This is an important step forward, but we still have one more election ahead. I look forward to continuing this conversation with the people of Lonoke County as we work toward building a safer, stronger Lonoke County," end quote. So at the center of Spencer's campaign was a moment that changed his life. Once again, a fatal 2024 shooting that sparked widespread discussion across Arkansas and beyond. Once again, he's charged with second-degree homicide. All that. The case has been the subject of legal proceedings and public debate as his campaign unfolded. Spencer said, quote, "I believe that I did what any good father would do in that situation that I was put in," end quote. So though he could not speak in detail about the ongoing criminal case, Spencer said that the events of that day drove his decision to run for sheriff. He told KATV his campaign was about building bridges between law enforcement and the community and addressing what he sees as longstanding gaps in trust and accountability. Supporters rallied around that message at the polls, helping propel Spencer past his GOP challengers, including incumbent Sheriff John Staley and fellow Republican David Buford, in a race where local voters said change was a central theme. So yeah, Staley has been sheriff for about 10 years now. So we definitely need to change. So now with the primary behind him, Spencer turns his full attention to November's general election. So yeah, so he won. So we will see, once again, depending on what happens, obviously with the trial, what will happen. Wait, Avery's talking about buttocks. What? Hold on. Oh, we're talking about, what? I'm not ignoring you, Avery. I'm trying to see I'm trying to go back and see. I just saw something about buttocks. What? And JP and buttocks. I don't know. I might not want to know. I don't know. Doodle said a cold is the worse than the Rona. Yeah, I mean, I hate to get a head cold worse than anything. It's miserable. What, Doodle's waiting on JP to chime in about something. Miss PJ's back. Welcome back, Miss PJ. Right, let me get caught up, and then I have a video. Avery says it's probably best that I do ignore her sometimes. I try not to ignore anybody. I try to keep up. Okay, so if I can play, PJ says she was innocent until she met Doodle. Oh goodness. Okay. So I think if I can find the right video, just some reaction to Spencer winning the primary. I think this is the right video, hopefully. Oh, I got to take down. Hold on. Let me take down that and get the right video.
any office while this is a court case is going on.
Good evening. We begin tonight in Lonoke County in a race that's drawing national attention. Aaron Spencer, who's currently facing a second-degree murder charge, has won the Republican nomination for Lonoke County Sheriff.
Spencer was arrested in 2024, accused of shooting and killing a man he had found alone with his then 14-year-old daughter, and now he is the nominee. It is an unusual, perhaps unprecedented situation. Channel 7's Andrew Mobley joins us now live in studio with more on what's next here. Andrew?
The question now is, will Spencer even be able to run in November's general election because of his pending court case?
I've never had a defendant be running for the sheriff or any office while, this is a court case is going on.
The trial was originally scheduled to start in January, but the Arkansas Supreme Court removed the presiding judge from the case at the request of Spencer's defense and appointed retired circuit judge Ralph Wilson.
We were set to do this before the primaries, which everybody would prefer to go ahead and get it done.
Now, Spencer's trial might be set either April 27th through May 1st or June 22nd through the 26th. If Spencer is convicted, he won't be eligible to run for sheriff in November.
Assuming one of those two dates we try it, couldn't go any further if he's convicted.
There's a great amount of public sympathy for Spencer and support. He got 54% of the Republican vote, about twice as much as his two competitors, including incumbent Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley. Though Spencer has become a folk hero to some, Graham expressed disappointment with Spencer allegedly taking the law into his own hands and killing Fossler, who was facing 40 charges at the time of his death before the law could take its course.
We were in process of it, and I think we were going to convict him.
And Graham says not everything the public has heard about the case is true.
What's out there in the public is not what happened, and they don't know the facts of it, and that's what we'll lay out in our court case. Do we really want to live in a society where people just go and kill somebody? Like the Wild West that you had when that all went on. That's not how we operate these days. But in this office and all around Arkansas, the prosecutors, we just follow the law, no matter what public opinion is.
Spencer's trial dates will be determined at a pretrial hearing March 18th. On your side, I'm Andrew Mobley.
Okay, Andrew, thanks very much. In a statement to Channel 7 News today, Spencer said of his victory, quote, "This is an important step forward, but we still have one more election ahead. I look forward to continuing this conversation with the people of Lonoke County as we work toward building a safer, strong Lonoke County."
Okay, so I'm just going to say right now, that dude who was talking about, oh, we do what is right, and I call BS on him. Just once again, knowing how Lonoke County operates, I call BS on everything he said. Just saying, my opinion. So yeah, it all depends on obviously what happens with the trial, whether or not he'll be able to, run in the general election. And the guy said, do we really want? And that is the question. I mean, that's the catch-22. I mean, do we really want somebody who took the law? Whether it's Spencer or anybody else. Do we really want somebody that took the law into their own hands, which is obviously illegal, to be sheriff or hold any kind of public position? But this is where we're at in this case. So we will see. What are you talking about? Oh, Doodle's talking about being loud. All right, let me see what else I had. Once again, my computer has chosen to be laggy now. Okay, I think all I had was one more video with we will hear from Aaron Spencer now, actually. So let me get that video up. Let me get back on the right tab here. All right.
Child. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Spencer is also promising to launch a tonight, the race for sheriff of Lono County is drawing national attention. One of the candidates is about to stand trial for second-degree murder. Aaron Spencer is accused of shooting to death a man who was suspected of sexually abusing his teenage daughter. We caught up with Spencer, and while he couldn't say much about the pending trial, he did talk about why he wants to be the county's top cop.
Many are concerned that you took the law into your own hands. What do you have to say to that?
I believe that I did what any good father would do in that situation that I was put in.
Aaron Spencer says October the 8th, 2024 changed his life forever. And that's the day he shot and killed a man he says he found alone with his missing 14-year-old daughter. Now, he says that moment didn't just alter his family's future. It exposed what he believes are serious flaws within the system.
A system that has created a safe haven for child predators. An issue within our sheriff's department that has a lot of lack of accountability and transparency.
He argues victims, especially children, deserve better.
Start with, let's not blame the victim. But for children especially, it can be very damaging to them because they still have the rest of their lives ahead of them.
And that's why Spencer says he decided to run for sheriff, despite having no experience in law enforcement.
Tell me about your past experience. What makes you qualified for this position?
Well, I served in the 82nd Airborne as a paratrooper. I was deployed to Iraq. I served in a leadership role as AMO team chief during that time.
Have you studied the state rules and regulations regarding detention centers?
I have not fully looked into all of those.
As sheriff, Spencer says he'd demand more of the department and look to increase bond amounts for those accused of violent crimes against children.
For the price of a lawnmower, you can get out of jail after committing a sexual crime against a child. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Spencer is also promising to launch a specialized SAFE unit, sexual assault and family endangerment, focused on prevention, prosecution, and victim support.
And it's basically going to be a fully established unit to combat and prevent child sex crimes. And I'm trying to make it as a one-stop shop.
The heart of his campaign, he says, is about rebuilding trust.
The sheriff works for the people. He answers to the people. You know, I'm not a politician. I am literally just a neighbor to these people. But I'm willing to do what I have to in order to keep our community safe, try to bridge the gap.
Spencer's criminal trial has been delayed indefinitely after the Arkansas Supreme Court removed the trial judge, meaning his second-degree murder case will remain unresolved on primary day. Spencer is competing with incumbent Sheriff John Staley and David Buford for the Republican nomination. We'll hear from them in the coming days.
All right, so that is what Aaron Spencer had to say. And I have to say, Doodle said it too. Let me find it. Well, she said our system is broken, absolutely, and that she agreed with what Aaron Spencer said as far as what he wanted to do in his beliefs. And I am in the same boat with Doodle. I agree totally with everything he said. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. We've all been saying that for a very, very long time. Anyway. All right, let me take that down, put that back up. Doodle says, so how are they going to do this if he wins, but if he gets convicted, who gets the job? So obviously, if he is convicted, he can't be sheriff. So they will have to have a special election. And then something to do with the quorum court will get involved. So that is all I know. I said I'm not a fluent in the judicial system, but yeah, they have said obviously he can't be judged. They'll have a special election and something about the quorum court being involved. Doodle said it is so odd that he even won, but wow. Oh no, I'm not surprised. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised that he won though. As soon as this happened, or as soon as he announced that he was going to run for sheriff, I told my mom, I said, If he runs for sheriff, he's going to win. And, obviously, once again, if he gets convicted, he can't, but he will win. And he's already won the primary, and I believe he won. So it was him for the Republican nomination. It was him, Staley, who is, like I said, Staley's been sheriff for like 10 years, and Buford, the other guy. Spencer got either 53 or 54% of the vote. Staley got 23%, and then Buford got 20-something percent. So Spencer won by a big margin, definitely. Doodle says, I haven't even seen the likes of this. I don't think I have either. I've been trying to think if in any state or any circumstance, if somebody who did something like, committed this kind of crime and then ran for sheriff or some kind of public office has even happened before. Leave it up to Arkansas. Leave it up to Arkansas. Usually it's Florida. Nothing against Florida, Doodle says, people must be tired of this physical crap. Yeah, I can tell you that people are tired of Staley. They're just tired of the whole Lonoke County judicial system, period. I mean, it's been broken for a very, very long time. Like I said earlier, that might be the next series I do for members only videos is covering some of the cases, corruption in cases here in Lonoke County. Oh yeah, you meant judicial crap. Doodle says people must be tired of this. I have trouble saying judicial. Yeah, they are. They are for a long time. People have been fed up with Staley and the whole crew for forever. And I don't know. Are there term limits? Obviously, there aren't term limits for sheriffs. I don't know. It's like I said, Staley's been for at least 10 years or more. And another thing is, Lonoke County is conservative, definitely Republican. So they mentioned that, and it is true that most of the time, whoever wins the Republican nomination in the primary goes on to win the general election and become sheriff. So we got that. Yeah, Doodle says predators walking free has to stop. So many get out and hurt more children. Exactly. Absolutely. Ms. PJ says I'm sick of the predators, DV offenders getting 0 jail time. Absolutely. Like I said, I keep harping on it, but they let Foster, Judge Elmore let Foster out on $50,000 bond, and then he immediately went and broke the no contact order and contacted the daughter, and then this happens. Doodle says, yeah, no term limit, just I guess they keep voting they keep voting Staley in. Every time they vote Staley in. Hey, Doodles and Gray, good to see you. Welcome. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be crazy. Hopefully, I mean, like I said, whenever the trial starts, that's why I wanted to go ahead and do this live stream and get everybody who is interested in this caught up until this point. So when the trial does start, and then we got the election and stuff that will be in November, we will definitely go over, keep up with it and go over it. Yeah, because it's going to be wild. It is going to be wild. Very, very wild, to say the least. So does anybody have anything else? Doodle says a family of officers, I'm sure, just like every other small town. Yeah, trying to think. Yeah, I'm sure Staley probably comes from a family of law enforcement. Doodle says that is where the corruption starts, in my opinion. True. All right, how long have we been on here? 2.5 hours. Oh, that's not bad. We've been here 2.5 hours. So has anybody got any other thoughts, comments, questions, observations? So like I said, oh yeah, I've covered that or shared that case. PJ said Georgia is pretty bad, starting with Olivia Fowler's case. Yes. Yeah, I've shared that case. I've been in touch with is Olivia's sister, one of her family members. Thank you, Miss Doodle. Well, there it is. Thank you, Miss Doodle. I appreciate it. Like I said, I didn't know how many people will be interested in this, but I definitely am. Yeah, it's definitely crazy, Miss PJ. You're most welcome. Definitely look into Olivia Fowler's case, Avery. Still fighting for justice for that case. Haven't heard of it. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Yeah, her aunt. Yeah, that was her aunt, and I feel so bad right now. But her aunt's name just flew out of my head. But yeah, I've been in touch with her or through Facebook. Yeah, it's just a horrible, horrible case. Thank you, Doodles. Says I'll replay with coffee in the morning. Yeah, but buckle in, buckle in. Yeah, Avery, definitely look it up. Most definitely. All right, guys. I think we're gonna get out of here for the night. But like I said, Friday I should be back, and we could talk about whatever. I do have a couple stories that I have found to talk about, but then we can talk about whatever, anything. Yeah, PJ says in Olivia's case, a lot are connected. Absolutely. Yeah, we need to talk about. I don't know what's been. I'm apparently nothing major has happened yet in Olivia's case. Anything new? Thank you, Mustang. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank everybody for being here. Thank everybody in chat, everybody, the lurkers, everybody who's watching replay. Thank you very much. And we will be back hopefully Friday. I said, barring any unforeseen things coming up. Yes, we definitely can. Remind me. Avery says Friday, can we talk about Ania Blanchard? Absolutely. It will be whatever you guys want to talk about. Just remind me. Because I don't have my pen and paper handy to write it down. Thank you, Miss Farr. Says thank you, Southern Gal. Great live. Have a good night. All stay safe. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me make sure. Yeah, that was all I had. Thank you, Miss PJ. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a good rest of your week. What am I looking for? I'm trying to multitask. There it is. So everybody stay safe. Stay safe. Be safe. Be kind. Just be a good human. It's not hard to do. For us good people, the good people out there, it's not hard to do. And I will see you guys Friday. Love you guys.